Good morning, Z.E.R.T Nation. XP001 here. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Hate. Today, we're going to talk about defensive driving and motorcade operations. As a father, as a mother, as a caretaker, you're in the car a majority of the time if you're not at home or not at work, right? So we talked about vehicle setup, or we talked about going extended distances with your family on travel and preparation on how to prep and prepare your vehicle for these trips. But another thing is a huge thing is defensive driving skills. Okay, so there's kind of, in the close protection industry, there's two. There's defensive driving and counterterrorism driving, and I'm going to define the two. Defensive driving is, the skills as the necessary skills in driving to save lives, time, money, spite of the conditions around you and the actions of others. So let's think about that. So once again, the necessary skills to save life, time, money, spite of the conditions, whether if it's a hostile environment, a protest, bad weather, and the actions of those around you, drivers, drunk drivers, riders, etc. So also in defensive driving, when you go down to the basics, they talk about vehicle dynamics, weight transfer, etc. And the best way to think about it is if, let's say, this roof was glass and a SUV drove on top of it, you have this looking up, you're looking at this big piece of mass with only 4 small points of contact. So going back to the basic fundamentals of defensive driving, it's knowing how to push that vehicle to its limits and understand what that vehicle does or how to control it, whether it's rain, ice, muddy conditions, turning, high speed, and basically how to correct or evade things that come out without overcorrecting, rolling the vehicle, and understanding weight transfer, etc. Threshold braking, understanding how to speed into a corner and basically put enough, get the vehicle to slow down enough to accelerate around that corner. There's a lot that's going on. Now, when we talk about counterterrorism driving, that is basically the training on observation skills and driving techniques used by protective services guys to identify and evade threats in, let's say, a hostile environment. So you're putting your defensive driving and your counterterrorism driving. So you got defensive, you got offensive driving techniques. Now, how do we apply those? Now, meaning, for instance, some of the vehicles, how do you run over a curve at a high rate of speed without destroying your rims or your tires? You can hit it at certain angles, but that's stuff that you can look on YouTube and read about, but you can only do when you're actually training, right? There's other stuff too, where deployment of airbags. If you actually had to ram a vehicle or push through, okay, what point of that vehicle are you going to hit, the front or back? It may not be sitting, right in front of you. Maybe front, or it may be pointing towards you, away from you. What points do you have to hit to properly push that car based on the angle that vehicle's facing you? Also too, if you have airbags are not turned off, how do you hit and push through a threat and tricking the airbags to not deploying while you're ramming through a fence or another vehicle? A lot of things to take in consideration. That's why we train. That's why we seek knowledge. Some of the older vehicles, when we're coming up to ram or pin another vehicle, you can a lot of times trick the sensors. Now, this is not on all cars. This is on the cars that we use. That once we slow down to roughly about 30, 35 miles per hour, we would actually accelerate through that push, trick the sensors, knowing that we're pushing through something, not hitting and stopping. So it didn't detonate the airbags. But once again, it takes a lot of training, guys. But this is just some of the knowledge and things that you guys need to think about for food for thought when it comes to defensive driving.
The Z.E.R.T membership pack is your gateway to a worldwide organization dedicated to building a safe and trained community armed with the proper mindset to see you and your family through to safety. The first-year membership pack includes Z.E.R.T 702 black t-shirt, 5-inch Z.E.R.T 702 patch in PVC, your call sign and squadron assignment, Z.E.R.T membership certificate, official membership card with your call sign, 10 Z.E.R.T recruitment cards, access to discounts from Z.E.R.T approved vendors, 15% off most Z.E.R.T merchandise year-round. In addition to the membership pack, once you join, you receive the following privileges: access to the Z.E.R.T forum and exclusive online videos. Z.E.R.T, not just an organization, It's a lifestyle. ZERTNation.com.